All right, hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. So another gameplay analysis video for today. I got a really interesting one for you guys. So I ran into an Azalea, and we ended up playing 2 matches back to back. So asked for a rematch, and I gave it to him. So we're going to take a look at that. It might be a little bit of a longer one because it's sort of a double header, but we'll get right into it and talk through what we're looking at here. So really interesting. Azalea is going to be a very interesting matchup. She's quite dominant in the meta. I believe that she has a good shot at being, a top contender. So we opted for Carapace here, which I think is correct, getting that extra block in. We snap include all of our D-reacts, which you will notice. Once I get off the pummel, I'm going to pause here for a second. So slight tweaks to the deck list. I mentioned before, and again, I'll post an updated deck list, but we are back on 3 of Runeblood Incantation and 3 of Funeral Moon. There's an argument to be made that you go down to 2, just for consistency. I am now on Sigil of Suffering over Sink Below. So Sink Below can help fix a hand, but if you're fixing hands, it doesn't always work. You can draw into another bad card. So Sigil of Suffering presents an interesting decision that your opponent needs to make, and it basically represents 5 points of value, just like Reduced to Rune Chant. That one, blocks for 4, can be free if you have a Rune Chant, and it generates a Rune Chant. So basically a 0 for 5 in the best case scenario. Sigil of Suffering is the same. It deals 1 arcane to your opponent, and if your opponent chooses to take that arcane, it blocks for 4 rather than 3. So it blocks for 3 at face value, blocks for 4 if they take that arcane. So again, a 0 for 5. And that extra point of arcane can really make a difference. So for Azalea, we're siding in some of our aggro. The Revels and the Mobs are no longer in the main board. I'm opting for consistency in the main board, but we have those aggro pieces that we can bring in certain matchups. So I'm spreading it around a little bit. You could choose to go 2 Mauve, 1 Revel, or 1 Mauve, 2 Revel, or in this case, I went Mauve, Revel, Pummel, just to have some variety, some options in this matchup. Plus, snap include all of the D-reacts, because we're happy to sit on those D-reacts in Arsenal and wait for Azalea to do something scary, because inevitably she will. Fast forward to the start of the game. I'm going to try and jump around a little bit wherever possible, because this is going to be a bit of a longer one here. Okay, so we banished a Phantom Wraith here at the beginning of the turn. Apologies, we missed that one. We're hovering over Grasp. Things are lagging a little bit. So, Widespread, make a Rune Chant from Grasp, pitch to set up an Incantation. Incantation's a great piece on turn 0 as well, another reason to include that. I think maybe I had some lagging issues here, but we'll see. And then that's it. Great setup turn. Turn 0 is usually a setup turn for us anyways, so you don't need to be afraid to set up. There are certain heroes where maybe you do want to choose to push, or push arcane damage if they do not run AB. But in this case, we have AB1 on the other side of the table with Bullseye Bracers. Looks like they played Codex of Inertia. We have Deathly Wail that came from top of deck, I think is what Codex of Inertia does. So Wail, and we have to discard a card here. So we get Wail. We're going to discard one of our 2 Deathly Delights, I assume. I think I'm just trying to figure out what happened here. So we're reading Codex of Inertia. Top of deck, face down into Arsenal. There you go. Each hero that does will discard a card. This is not one that we come into very often. Inertia is a little bit annoying, but it's not the end of the world as Vynnset here. So we're going to give up that Deathly Delight. We have a Deathly Wail in Arsenal. The thing that I've observed about Azalea as well is they don't really respect what their opponent does. So they tend to be a bit greedy, which I think we're going to see here in this first round. So I'm just thinking through my lines and possibilities here. If we had Shadow Puppetry, this would be a lot easier, but with the Mauve Skies, a little bit more awkward. So we're probably going to, well, it looks like we're going to banish this Deathly Wail. We could just present a Deathly Wail straight up, or we could do something like Mauve Skies into, I don't know how many Rune Chant we have. Oh, we're going to have 3. We could just present the Deathly Wail from Banish as well. And if they don't want to respect our Movskai's on hit, that would allow us to go Phantom Wraith. Apologies for talking about our turn, but we just decided to take some damage here. Nothing too scary about that Bolton shot. So we're going to go ahead, banish this Deathly Whale. Looking at what Inertia does, so we're going to lose this other Deathly Whale in Arsenal if we don't play it out. But I think we're probably just fine with that. I'm not sure we want to sit on 2 things in Banish, but maybe we'll see what we decide to do. I think the play here is Movskai's Deathly Whale, because if they choose not to respect it, it allows us to play the Phantom Wraith out as well. Which, honestly, Azalea sometimes just doesn't respect what... They get a bit greedy. They see their big pumps in their hand. They snap took all the rune chants, and they snap took this as well. So we're happy to break the chain here, make our second rune chant, follow this up. So they're not going to be too happy with another 8 coming up. But again, they have to respect what is going on across the table. And Vynnset's a bit of a dark horse, right? So you can catch Azalea players off guard by just presenting more damage output than they think you're capable of. So, yeah, we're just playing into their greed. We lose that Deathly Whale from Arsenal, which we're not that sad about. We drew into nothing but attack actions here, which is a bit awkward. So we're happy to do some blocking. We could just keep a 2-card hand here. The blue plus one of our 2s to present. Oh, but we have Incant up. So we could actually just give them 3 of these cards and still come in with... That's the beauty of Incant, right? We can give them 3 of our cards here happily and still present 2 and 6. Shout out, by the way, I was listening, you'll notice at the top here, listening to an interview with Yuki Lee Bender, a fellow Canadian, better player than I. Yeah, it was really, really interesting listening to her perspectives on, Icelander rotating out and all of this kind of stuff. So if you're interested, check that out. Okay. Oh, they played another Codex of Inertia. So we hit something. I can't remember what we just scrolled over. So we'll be sitting on something in Arsenal. I think we're still happy to give a bunch of cards here. We have Envelop, which might convince us to get a bit greedy, because now we could present Deathly Whale. We gave up one of our 2 Rune Gate costs, so Widespread Ruin has an on hurt, so it's a little more relevant than Phantom Wraith. So when we're faced with a decision to get rid of one of them, we're going to get rid of the Wraith. So this is for 8. We could give some equipment here, but it's kind of awkward. So that still doesn't cover it up. So I wonder if we just take this back, or if we're... Yeah, we take this back. Well, I still would have probably... Oh, they're going to give us... Or they're going to present us with Fatigue Shot. Okay, I see what we're doing. Because they can Snapdragon Scalers this. Heatseeker. So we're just going to let this Heatseeker hit because we're expecting the Fatigue Shot afterwards. They had to back up. So they had to back up. Yeah, we still take the Heatseeker. They're going to Scalers it. There you go. And present Fatigue Shot, which we're happy to cover up. So we're going to give the Ruin Grasp, cover this up, because Fatigue Shot will half our damage output, which we really don't want. They'll get an Arsenal card. That's fine. We're still looking pretty good in terms of our life disparity here. So we're on the winning side of life. And we're really, really happy to present 1 Unpreventable, 2 more Rune Chants, plus 8, the plus 2 from Envelop, and guarantee 2 Rune Chant generation on the back end. If they continue to be greedy, they do have a 6-card hand with the Ponder and with the Heat Seeker activation or on hit. So they might be... No, they're going to be giving up some cards, or at least 1. So they're going to go to 15. We're going to make 2 Rune Chants, which we're happy about. I could, again, because of Rune Blood Incantation, could literally just keep Widespread Annihilation and present 4 and 6 with a very scary on hurt. I'm I'm just looking at what we got going on the other side of the table here. They got some pumps. They got a very scary arrow. So unless they dig for something off the top, they're probably just going to present a very large infecting shot. We still have some equipment pieces. I'm not sure I'm super keen to give up crown here since we wouldn't get any value off of it. I don't think this is the, there's probably no world where we cover this up. So I could see us getting a little bit greedy here. This will be for 11. Another Codex of Inertia. We got Mauve's guy's yellow, so we're happy to trade in this blue one for the yellow. That makes our decision a little bit easier because we're going to have a Mob Skies. We're going to present this Widespread Annihilation. So they're going Bolt and Shot first with Go Again. We know there's an Infecting Shot following up, which I think it's more important to block that because they don't get an on-hit here with Bolt and Shot, whereas we will be preventing an on-hit here. So yeah, we don't need both of these Mob Skies. I'm probably thinking about giving up this Mob Skies from hand. But, oh, we're going to sync. Yeah, that makes sense now that we have an arsenal. Sync with Crown. See, let's get greedy. See what we draw into. Not really helpful. It is helpful. No, not really helpful. It'd be helpful if we could get both of these things in Banish, but we can't. So we have to make a decision. I think Widespread Annihilation is still the call here. We can present them with Mauve, and that just forces them to further respect this Widespread Annihilation. So pretty much at life parity here. Presenting 4 and 6 with a relevant on-hit of 3 rune chance, which we're happy to roll over the next turn if they want to let this hit. We do have Inertia, so we'll lose this Deathly Whale either way, which is kind of fine. This is, enough of a, threat that we're presenting here, so... 4 and 6, if they take any damage, they're going to have to banish a guard from hand. If they let the physical hit, they're going to give us 3 rune chance that we can roll over to the next turn, which is very scary. I mean, if they want to be uber greedy, they take this, and then they only lose 1 card from hand, but then they give us 3 rune chance. I think they just lose. So they really should block this out. They're going to let it hit. So they're going to go to 5, give us 3 rune chance, and they're going to banish a card from hand. Not a great plan on there. I'm thinking, obviously I can't present Flail. If we had a yellow or a blue, we could present Scepter here, which would be fun. But that's okay. So we just pass. Lace with Frailty, they're going to present a big fat arrow again. We're happy to, even just keeping this Deathly Whale at minimum is great. Keeping Deathly Whale plus Shadow Puppetry is probably our next best option. So we're happy to give the 2 middle cards, I believe. We also have 4 block, technically, if we want to give up Spellbound Creepers. 4 block on equipment still. Another Heat Seeker. They can't give it Go Again this time. So they have 3 pumps on this. They hit this off the top with Azalea. I didn't realize that. So 14 Dominate. So that makes our decision easy. We can only give 1 thing up from hand. And they took a lot of damage to facilitate this, so it better pay off. We're going to give 4, take 10, down to 6. We still have a life lead on them. And we'll be able to present, something that they'll have to respect next turn. And now, once we present lethal, then they just can't take the damage. So I think we're on the front foot here. I'm thinking of whether I want to, what our next turn is going to look like, whether I want to give them any more equipment, essentially. That's our only choice. So I actually decided to keep all of this to further set up, because we're not going to get value off of creepers. I kind of like that play. Just going to pause for a second. So give them all the equipment. This game is not going to go very much longer anyways. We're not going to get value off of creepers. This late in the game, it's really hard to hold back enough cards to creeper something in. So keeping our whole hand this turn, I could either just present a very large Deathly Whale that they really need to respect, so by playing the Envelop out, or I can guarantee some scary next turns. I think playing the Envelop out So Shadow Puppetry, Envelop, pitching Runeblood is probably the play, because that's 5 rune chance, 1 unpreventable. We already took the life off of Shadow Puppetry, so I have to take 1 down to 4. Then 4 more rune chance, so lethal just on rune chance. So they need to have blues, which Azalea doesn't always have. I don't know what the volume of blues they run are, but I think it's pretty low. Plus 8. So this is 7. So yeah, this is, you know, it looks like they're just frustrated. They take all of the rune chance, give us the game. GG's. I think maybe, you know, they underestimated again. I think Azalea can underestimate, especially a dark horse like Vynnset. So he asked for, or they asked for a rematch here, and we gave it to them. So game 2, bonus, double header into Azalea. So we'll see how this match goes. They now know the matchup better, so this should go better for them. This turn, we did our normal setup on turn 0, banish a Phantom Wraith, activate Grass Pitching a blue, make a second rune chant, and sit on a D-React, which we're very happy, super comfortable against Azalea, sitting on this D-React. I don't know if we saw any sigils last turn. Sigils are really impactful. You know, very seldom will they pay for it, so you're often getting that full 5 value from sigil into Azalea, I believe. So they're presenting a Seek and Destroy. Okay. Knock the Death Whistle. Okay, so they played Knock the Death Whistle. They're going to look for something off top. Tutor something, activate Azalea, come in with a scary Dominated Arrow. We have equipment. I don't know if we want to give equipment this early, but depending on what they present. So an Infecting Shot. So this will be for 8, or there might be, yeah, 9. So we'd have to give up so much equipment here. Chances are, I don't know if I want to this early. It's just presenting Blood Rot. Oh, we do have the D-React. I forgot about that. So we can cleanly cover this up. With just Grasp and D-React, they don't have any resources floating, so this is a guaranteed 9. Yeah, very nice. Okay. So we're happy about how that... I completely forgot about the Sigil and Arsenal, so that worked out in our favor for sure. Presenting a Red Mauve and a Deathly Whale. So hopefully they know they need to respect our stuff now. They got 3 rune chants coming in, so they're going to take those, which makes sense. They're more worried about the physical here. So they have to cover up this physical, or else we make 3 rune chants and we follow this up with a Phantom Wraith. They could... you know, repeat their mistakes from the first game. We're happy to get some more value here. Fast forward a little bit. This is already going to be a long video. So they're giving us cards. They're giving us Searing Shot from hand. They're going to give us anything else. They're going to give us Read the Glide Path. So they're going to cover this up for 5. Great. So we break the chain. Make a rune chant, and we could present Scepter here. This does have Go again, which I think is what I'm considering. So you can either pitch for Grasp, pitch the blue, or present Scepter and give them another decision to make. I think presenting Scepter is probably better, because they'll have to give us a card if they don't want us to make a second rune chant. So presenting Scepter for 1 arcane, I like that. They take it, we make 2 rune chants. And they undid. Maybe they are second guessing, so they're actually going to give us another card, which we're happy about. So they only have 1 card. They're probably just setting up this turn. They're going to Arsenal Pass. The only banished target we have is Widespread Annihilation, which is a little awkward. We can, you know, basically just set up. If we go Widespread Annihilation, I'm thinking about it here. If we banish Widespread Annihilation, we can sit on the Sigil in Arsenal, sit on Envelop, or pitch Envelop for a Runeblood incantation, which will allow us to basically guarantee play it out the following turn. I think that's our only real play. So I think we set up Runeblood incantation here, pitching Envelop. I'm thinking about... yeah, we do fire that off. So we fire off Phantom Wraith. I kind of like that. It strips cards from their hand. It's only 2 and 6, but with Azalea, any card we can get from their hand is going to be a win. We still get to sit on Sigil. Widespread Annihilation gets a little bit awkward, so I might come to regret this decision. So there's an argument to be made where we really just treat that as a setup turn. We take the 2 Blood Debt, sit on Phantom Wraith, and then just play out the Annihilation next turn. So I might come to regret this. We draw into a couple Envelop in Darkness. So I would basically have to keep my whole hand here if we wanted to play out the Widespread Annihilation. Otherwise, it's going to keep draining us. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. They already played 1 Pump, laced with Inertia, with a Drill Shot. So this will be for 7. And we have the D-React. So I wonder if we give 2 pieces of equipment plus D-React. So we're giving Envelop. So, the other thing I think I might undo here, because I realize now they have 2 Float, and so this is not guaranteed to hit and give us 4. So if I play this out, they're just going to block the Arcane, and it would only block for 3. If we really want to cover up this Drill Shot, so I say sorry here, I had to undo myself, which I try not to do, but we're going to give instead Carapace over Grass, gives us that 1 more point of block. Then we can block this out fully guaranteed. I think there's another argument to be made here where I keep my hand and I give Crown. It kind of feels bad to give Crown on this arrow, but that would have allowed us to play the Widespread Annihilation out. Because I'm going to banish here, go to 2 Rune Chance. I could Envelop to get to 3, but am I missing something? No, we're not going to be able to play. We're just going to have to play out a big Phantom Wraith. So if I kept hand and give Crown instead, we would have been able to present the Widespread Annihilation. This is still 3 for 9, or 3 and 9, so it's, we're at 37 still. We're still putting enough pressure on to pull cards from hand. But again, this Widespread Annihilation is going to become sort of a thorn in my side. Be really careful when you're banishing Widespread Annihilation. I've been in this situation a lot where it ends up maybe hurting us more than it helps. So it's a piece to be, it's an amazing piece, don't get me wrong, but it's a piece to be weary of and think long and hard. If we draw into Revel, which is probably what I'm hoping for, if we draw into Revel, it unlocks it and it feels great, but we're not seeing our Revel. It's kind of just stagnating here, which doesn't feel good. They present Sleep Dart, which puts Vynnset to sleep, which might not be the end of the world here because we can just play something out. When they hit us with Sleep Dart, we just say, fine, I have blues in the deck. I'm going to play something out natural. So we could still present Widespread Destruction from hand and give them, either Wraith and Envelop. I think we probably give one of the blues and Envelop. Yeah, Wraith and Envelop, as I said. We're happy to keep the blue mauve in our deck. I'm just thinking on, whether we want to give more, but we're happy to just take 3 here and swing back with 6 just from hand. Weird to not have to banish from Vynnset. Kind of hurts actually. But 1 and 6, the on hurt here is not really relevant since they don't have Arsenal, but 6 is still, 7 damage. 2 card 7 is not too bad. Wow, they're thinking long and hard on. So they are going to give card. They take card back. They give card. Give us a card, presumably, that they don't really need. And take 3, I guess. Oh, they undid and then blocked it out. So they decided to block it out. They're going to Lace with Frailty, Codex of Frailty. So we are going to choose something from our discard. Probably Whale or Destruction. Destruction's not bad to sit on Arsenal as well. Whale to give us Rune Chant generation. Destruction to threaten Arsenal. So I decided on Destruction here because Azalea often likes Arsenal. Did they just pass on that? No. Oh, we're thinking on discard. That makes sense. Yeah, they're not going to pass here. So what do we want to discard? I'm looking through my options, thinking, oh yeah, I need to hold a blue back in order to play the widespread from, Arsenal potentially. They're presenting us with a Heat Seeker here. We can give Crown if we want to just sink our Arsenal away, which we decide to do. So we're still going to take 6 here. We're going to be able to go Shadow, Puppetry, Deathly Wail, and guarantee 2 rune chants on the back end, which is pretty good. We didn't really need... I don't know if the sink was great there. We got a little greedy. Okay. Got to pause. Okay. This makes sense. We needed to hold the blues back because we were only at... We had the last activation on Incantation, so the banish got us to 2 rune chants. We needed to generate a 3rd rune chant by pitching to Grass, which costs 4 now, since we have 2 rune chants to begin with, leaving 2 float to follow up with Scepter. So this is a pretty decent line. It did require us to take some damage and allow them to set up, pretty significant, 6-card hand for next turn. So not great, and Widespread Annihilation keeps being a thorn in our side. So this is definitely not rolling as smoothly as our last matchup into Azalea. It's still going okay. And honestly, just Shadow Puppetry, just pause for a second. Shadow Puppetry plus Deathly Wail, it presents an on-hit that they can't really ignore because we take the damage no matter what. We're going to generate 2 rune chants on close. So if we hit a 2-cost Rune Gate card off the top, that represents another 2 and 6 that we follow this up with. Or, worst case, so that's what I'm hoping for off the top there. Worst case, we just follow this up with Scepter, which is still great. And we're happy with them giving us Red in the Ledger. I think they'd rather see it off the top anyways, but... So they're giving us 6 to cover this up. They don't want us to get our on-hit, which I think is the right call. So we're just going to present Scepter. We get our 2 guaranteed rune chants no matter what. They get to decide whether they want to, give us 1 more card. They don't. So we make 3 rune chants, which we're happy to follow or end our turn on. So no more Rune Blood Incantation. 2 reduced to rune chant though. So we will make 5. If we play them both out, we're going to make 5 rune chants, 6 rune chants when we banish. So they're doing some pumping, Seek and Destroy. They have a Sedation shot in Arsenal. Take Aim, another pump. And what did they do? They played out Codex of Frailty. Oh, they Azalea'd. They Azalea'd into a Codex? Interesting. So they Azalea'd, and then they Codex of Frailty. So we are going to choose a card. Probably one of these Deathly Wails. I like Deathly Wail. It, costs a blue, generates rune chants. We're going to give up this Envelop because it's a little bit awkward in our hand anyways. Chances are we're just going to be pushing this red Deathly next turn. So they present a Drill Shot, which we can we don't want the on-hit because it's going to put a -1 counter on our equipment. So we want our equipment value, put them both in front, follow that up with 2 reduced to rune chant, which is going to allow us to cover this up clean, generate 2 more rune chants, and then we're going to come in for a 6 and 6. 6 rune chants. We finally... Okay, there we go. That makes sense. I choose to shoot out the Widespread Annihilation. We finally get to get it out of our arsenal. We're going to sit on Deathly Wail. It might be able to generate us rune chants later. So they snap, take all 6 of the rune chants, I believe. Yep. And yeah, so they take all of the arcane, thinking on the 6 physical. Looks like they have a nice hand, so they're gonna take it and give us 1 card from hand. We're happy about that. They banished a Infecting Shot. And we're looking at a fresh hand. A little bit awkward, honestly. So, we could play the Funeral Moon out. I think I'm eyeing up this Deathly Wail from Arsenal, so we can actually give them... We're going to have to banish one of them. I think we banish Moon. So we might be able to give them Deathly Delight and Wail. There's no world where we cover this 11 damage Heat Seeker up, but... Because if we go... if we give them Wail and Delight, we just play out... we banish the Funeral Moon, we play out our own Deathly Wail. I don't know why I'm not giving them Delight. Because we want to banish it? So I think this was wrong. I think I also give them Delight. I think we also give them Delight here, which would preserve 3 more life. Doesn't cover up Heatseeker. There's no world where we cover up Heatseeker anyways. They did hit red in the ledger, which hurts, but that's fine. They didn't hit it off the top, so that's a win. But if we give them Deathly Delight as well, then we can banish Funeral Moon and then just play out the Deathly Wail. If they take any damage, we play Funeral Moon at instant speeds, and we end the turn on 3 Rune Chants. So I don't agree with my decision because, yeah, I think this is wrong. We're banishing the Deathly Delight, which was wrong. So this is going to come back to, this might actually be the decider. Because we took 2 Blood Debt that we didn't necessarily need to. I don't need this Deathly Delight in Banish. We have enough in Banish with the Deathly Wail banked. So I'm hoping that he takes, or they take this 1 Rune Chant, which they did. 5 physical, doesn't matter what they do with this because we are going to play out our Funeral Moon, take 1 damage to Vynnset's ability, and end on 3 Rune Chants no matter what. I'm still disappointed with myself because basically we just lost out on 4 points of damage, which is significant because we could have given up the Deathly Delight to block 3, and then we wouldn't have had to take this extra Blood Debt. So that's 4 life now. So let's track that and see if it would have made a difference in the end. I have a hunch that it would have. So that was a bit of a blunder on my part. Funeral Moon would have been a much better banish target. So we don't need to play this from hand. We can play it from banish. So now we play it, take the life, end on 3 Rune Chants, and take our Blood Debt. Plus, there's nothing we could do about the Blood Rot, so that's fine. But now we're at 10. We should be at 14, so keep that in mind. So they're playing out the red. We're going to have to give... We're just going to play 1 thing out from banish. We have 3 Rune Chants. So again, we don't need this Deathly Delight here. But if I give out everything from hand, that's 3, 5, 7, 11. So we can block this out fully, which I think is the play. Because there's no point in banishing anything else here. I'm tempted to keep the read. And I was, screaming at this Shadow Puppetry. Because if this was not red, we go Shadow Puppetry, take, Wail, and then Deathly Delight. But that would require us to keep 2 of these cards, Shadow Puppetry and something else, probably the other Delight. Which is unfortunately a bit. But the red on hit just, thwarts that plan altogether. Because... I'm desperately trying to make this work in my head, but the red in the ledger on hit is just going to prevent anything from happening here. So I think I'm going to come to the conclusion that I have to give my hand. Again, we should be at 14. So we'll see if this Deathly Delight pays off in the end as well. So we can cover this up clean, which is nice. They're going to take 1 Arcane down to 8, which we're happy about. And we're still going to be able to present Wail here. So 3 and 6, we'll see what they do with it. Rewind a little, or fast forward a little bit. Giving us Tunic and New Horizon. Wow. So giving us all equipment to keep their whole hand, which is kind of scary. So they took 3 down to 2, because they took the Arcane as well. Wow. So they took the 3 Arcane and the 3 Physical down to 2. And they're going to push us back quite a bit. So again, now we should be at 13. And we'll see if this Deathly Delight really does pay off. In this case, it is nice. We are going to have to give up some cards no matter what. Because inevitably, they're going to have a big turn. 7 with a relevant on hit here. So I bet... So the Deathly Delight might actually come into play. I think we have to cover this up. So we're reluctantly giving 3 cards to cover this up because we can't allow for the reload. Yeah, I'm looking at Bullseye Bracers now because they have 1 float. They could Bullseye Bracers and really go for it, which would make us sad, which is, I think, what they do. It does get rid of their Arcane Barrier. So, yeah, that extra 4 health. We wouldn't have had any follow-up here, but... Yeah, so... Oh, we have to discard the read, too. Yeah, this was a very, very good play from them. because it strips our last card, which we were banking on. We need this read in order to make our second rune chant. We need anything in hand in order to banish, make our second rune chant, and follow this up with Delight for a guaranteed kill at this point. We just need to push 2 Arcane. So this really sucks. They strip our hand. They're going to present Falcon Wing for 4. And then we just need to find 2 Arcane. But this Deathly Delight now is going to drain us another one. So we'll be at 4 at the end of our turn. We could be at 8 if we didn't do the Deathly Delight banish. I'm thinking about Flail of Agony here because it's going to force them to 1. They have no more AB, so they're going to have to take the AB, and this forces a card from hand because this presents lethal, which I think is a good play. So I'm now on 3, but without the Deathly Delight, yeah, the Deathly Delight is the reason we're going to die, I think, because we should be at 7, and we wouldn't be sitting on the Deathly Delight, which I don't think is the end of the world, because at this point, all we need to do is banish a card and present Flail. Just preserve, 2 life in order to banish a card, present Flail. That wins us the game. So Bloodrot Pox is another nail in the coffin here. Yeah, that Deathly Delight play cost us the game here, I think. If I remember correctly, we lose. And it's just about, it's excruciating when we're this close, when all you need to do is present 1 Arcane. They have no AB, they're at 1. So what did they do here? I missed it. I think, did they play another Codex? Sorry, I'm going to rewind. Yeah, Codex of Bloodrot. Okay, so they stripped a card from hand, gave us an Arsenal, which is really bad at this point in the game. They lace, they read the Glide Path. They're going to present a huge Bolton Shot for 10, which we're at 3. We need to give them our hand. I'm trying to preserve life because there's nothing worse than going down to 2 or 1. And no matter what, like, Blood Rot is going to hurt us. So I think we just die. If we can't get Delight out, Blood Rot and our Blood Debt kills us. So I have to give my hand and we just die. So even just keeping a card for Scepter of Pain, if I give them, no, it's 3 lethal. So I can't give them, there's no world where I keep my hand or anything in hand here. So the Codex was very, very good, stripping that card from hand. And this cost us the game. So this Deathly Delight definitely cost us the game. That play was not the correct play. And it ended up compounding. We should be at 7 life essentially here, which would allow us to keep digging. I'm just presenting Flail here, going out on our own terms sort of thing. So no matter what, they could choose to not block here and we could win. But this is a GG's. This is a good game. So they just need to block out, realize that we are dead to our own Blood Debt and Blood Rot here. So good game. Very, very close, very interesting 2 games. I think that one was well within our grasp as well, those grasps of the Arc Knight. But yeah, a little bit of a blunder there on the turn where we should have given up that Deathly Delight. It wasn't really doing us any favors in our banish. Maybe if our hands lined up. Their codices were very impactful late game, pulling those cards from hand as well. So really, really close game. Overall, really interesting game into Azalea. I really like the matchup. It ends up being very close most of the time. But that was sort of our own gameplay issue. So lots of decision points in as a Vynnset player. Vynnset has a pretty high skill ceiling, and it rewards reps for sure. And I don't play it perfectly. I definitely made a glaring mistake there that I think cost us the game, but maybe there was another mistake early game. You let me know if I missed anything else, but I'll let you go because this was long enough. But I hope you found that interesting. Azalea is definitely an interesting matchup for us. So I learned a few things. I hope you did as well, but we'll chat again real soon. Okay. Cheers, everybody.